Yeah. Rod Serling, the guy who wrote the Twilight Zone, actually wrote the original Planet of the Apes. I'm not sure. You probably knew that, right?
I found that out recently and I was blown away. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Because if you really think about it, all of the elements of Twilight Zone episodes are kind of in Planet of the Apes. It's kind of like one big Twilight Zone episode. There's like the creepy
I can see that.
masks,
I can see.
yeah, the monkeys, the great makeup, the amazing twist ending, the shock ending on like kind of like a bitter note of shock.
No, I can see Rod Serling just standing there being like, imagine, if you will, a planet of apes where humans are the apes and apes are the humans.
Yeah, because the plots of the Twilight Zone weren't always like monsters. Like sometimes they were, but like the apes, Planet of the Apes could easily slide into one of the episodes. So pretty cool. And there's even some elements that overlap. There's a Twilight Zone episode where somebody travels through time in like a pod, and they do it with somebody else, and the other person's pod malfunctions. And when the one person wakes up, they see their friend as like a skeleton. That happens at the beginning of the Planet of the Apes. So it's kind of like he took like something from one of his other projects and just put the same thing into the movie he was writing.
That's awesome. What was that one episode you showed me where they were like, there's a bunch of people in like a cylindrical like room and they like couldn't get out unless they tried to climb out? What was that one?
Oh, I think it's called Five Characters in a Basket or Five Characters Trapped or something. It's literally like a simple name like that, but it's a bunch of action figures that are sentient and they're stuck in a trash can.
That's fascinating. Interesting.
Yeah.
I liked that episode.
Creepy
It was
idea.
cool.
Yeah. It's one of those like bottle episodes where it's like all in one room. It's not one of my favorites. I'd say it's just a classic one, but it's not like my go-to. But I hadn't seen that one since I was a kid, so I wanted to rewatch it. Do you have a favorite Twilight Zone episode?
No, I haven't seen as much of it as you. I've seen like one time I saw an episode where they had like a camera that could print pictures like a few seconds from the future, and they used it on horse racing, which Tony Soprano could have used that camera, to be honest with you.
That
I don't even
show,
remember how the episode ends. I just remember they used it for horse betting.
the music on that show is like the music on that show creates the disturbing feeling so well. When I was a kid watching that show, I would be terrified. It was on like TV Land all the time, and I remember having like that cold, like shivering, not like physically, but like that like I don't feel safe watching this. Like it's so creepy, and obviously some of the episodes are a little dated now, or they're not as like scary as some things we have today, but they planted the seeds for a lot of horror that we know now, like Talking Tina. That was probably the first haunted doll piece of media, or at least film or TV show that we had in America. It it walked so that movies like Annabelle could run. I know Annabelle is a real doll, but I'm saying that whole kind of genre, Chucky, it was kind of inspired by Talking Tina.
No, you're right. It's a hugely influential show.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of great performances from really famous actors before they were big. William Shatner famously is in 2 episodes. He has the one with the demonic wishing machine. It like tells you your future, and then also the classic thing on the wing. Burgess Meredith is in an episode. Mickey from Rocky. Have you seen that one?
No, what does he do?
He's a bank teller, and he's like abused at work. Like all of his bosses and stuff, they're always very mean to him, and he never has time for himself. And one day he's working in the safe, and an atomic bomb goes off, and everybody dies. And he comes back out, and he's like, "Oh, there's time for me to read my books now. Now I don't have to wait in line. Now there's nobody to be mean to me." Yay! And at the end of the episode, he's at the library and he's like, "There's so much time to read books," and then his glasses fall off his face, and then he can't like read or he can't even really see anything, and he goes, "But there was time now. But there was time. It's not fair." And then the camera like pans out to Rod Serling. It's like he's basically trapped in a world where he can't see anything now by himself.
Cool. I feel like that's a show I need to actually watch through, or at least some episodes. Maybe not every episode, but a good chunk of them.
Yeah, it's awesome.